Yeah. From US to Canada, Germany, Japan, there is less complaining, and in Singapore and Ireland, millions of people from all over the globe just call this fever for complaint-free world.org. And we say no more complaining people.
Hi everybody, this is Will Bowen with today's JumpStart. Glad to be here with you and glad you are here with me as always. I've said many times before, and I think it is so true, we are creating a positive online community, providing hope and inspiration for people around the world. And I am so grateful to those of you who are here with us every single day, and especially to those of you who are here for the first time. Because first timers become long timers. That's what we found. And how do we get first timers? Those of you who are here every day, click share. So just click share real quick if you would. And if you've stumbled upon us for the first time, be sure and let everybody know that you're here for the first time so that everyone can welcome you. Now, I have to remind you that this week I am on vacation, although my producer Miroslav is releasing those as if I am here live. I will see your comments later, and I look forward to reading them and seeing who is here. So as always, everybody, please take a few minutes and check in. Tell us where you are. Tell us what's going on. Share with us what the weather is if you'd like. Let us know how everything is going for you, because we'd very much like to know. And I hope everything's going well for you wherever you are. The weather is good, and that you are staying very, very, very safe. And remember, do not practice social distancing. There is no need to ever practice social distancing. Practice physical distancing, not social distancing. You need to reach out socially to people as much as possible. I was going to see if Teddy had finished his treat. Are you still eating? You're done? Come here. Come here, bud. Come on. He just finished eating his favorite treat, which is what's called a nudge, which, look, it's a chicken. It's a piece of chicken. And so now he's probably going to burp in my ear. Teddy has this way of letting you know that he appreciates a meal by burping in your ear. Don't you, buddy? Huh? Don't you? He's like, would you please turn? Why do you have these lights on? Especially with your bald head. It's all bouncing off your head, and it's blinding me. So let's do something. Today we're going to talk about what it means to jumpstart being self-made. We're going to talk about being a self-made person. Is that enough for you, buddy? Yeah? Okay. You ready to get back under the desk? All right. Daddy's got you. Don't bump your head. There you go. There goes Mr. Teddy Bear. By the time you see this, Teddy will be in Kansas City with me, and we'll have flown on an airplane. So we're excited about that. Got his little cage, or his little, not cage, but a little basket that fits underneath the seat in front of me. So I am very excited about that. Like I said, today I want to talk about being self-made, which is ironic because I'm totally going to steal this from somebody else. In other words, I'm going to be self-made by stealing this from somebody else. The person I'm stealing from is, of course, my great mentor, Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale was an amazing man. Earl Nightingale was born in Torrance, California, and he grew up in California, and he decided at a very young age that he wanted to get into the biggest industry at that time in entertainment, and that was radio, and wanted to become a radio announcer, and ended up becoming a network radio announcer in Chicago. And then he spun off and started doing daily motivational audios, just like I do. He called his direct line. I call mine JumpStarts. Earl Nightingale called his direct line. And it used to be released on record albums. He would go into a studio just like I'm doing right now, but he would record things, and instead of it going into a computer, it was actually burned into a record. And then it was sent around with sponsorship to radio stations all around the world. And it literally ran all over the world. If you have not checked out Earl Nightingale, check him out. If you're old enough to remember the Jack Benny show, the face that appeared at the end and did the Jell-O commercials, that was Earl Nightingale. One of my favorite quotes from Earl Nightingale is that people like to talk about being self-made. Now, Nightingale died in 90. I talked to him right before he died, approximately 1990, I think it was. Yes, it was 1990. He died about 6 months after my 30th birthday, and I looked him up and called him. But one of my favorite quotes from him back then, now you got to remember, he wrote mostly in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, back when the word man meant mankind, or just man. Anyway, he said that the self-made man, everybody wants to talk about being a self-made man, but we're all self-made. Only the successful are willing to admit it. So let me say that again. Nightingale said that everyone is self-made, but only the successful are willing to admit it. Isn't that true? Isn't that so true? That the successful always want to take credit for what happened in their life and what has gone well for them, whereas the unsuccessful want to blame other people. Now, in some cases, there are legitimate reasons, don't get me wrong. I remember growing up going to a private all-white school as a boy, and having all of this privilege and everything like that. And then crowing to a friend of mine about my success when I wrote my book. And he's like, success? You were born on third base. How in the world are you taking credit for hitting a home run? Thought, wow, that's pretty good. The point I'm trying to make is that when a person is successful, it's rarely just themselves that got them there. In fact, I would go so far to say it's never just themselves that got them there. We all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. I stand on the shoulders of Earl Nightingale, who stood on the shoulders of Napoleon Hill and James Allen and so many other great writers in this genre. We are all self-made. Unfortunately, it is only the successful who will admit it. The unsuccessful, and in those times in our lives when we are feeling unsuccessful, it is so easy for us to turn our gaze to other people and to blame other people and to say, if only they were different, then I wouldn't be where I am. Wayne Dyer put it so well. He said that if someone else is making you neurotic, then send them to me and I'll treat them and you'll get better. Which, of course, makes no sense whatsoever. No one makes you neurotic. No one else makes you a failure. Now, let me just say that, yes, there are people who are born on third base just like me, and there are, unfortunately, people who are born in their street clothes standing on the street and yet are still expected to play the game as fully as those of us who are in there suited up, etc. In other words, there are people, just for every one of us who have privilege, there are people who lack it in a magnificent way. And those people, when they are successful, are even more amazing. Those are the stories, the Horatio Alger stories that we love to hear and we love to share. So how about you? Are you willing to accept what I'm telling you and to say that you are self-made? Or are you still thrashing about blaming other people about this and that? And if only this person hadn't made this choice, and if only this person wouldn't have done that. When I was a kid, there were these little books that were sold in the Hallmark store in my local community. And they were really tiny, and I mean little books. The book wasn't any bigger than this. It was square. And on each page was just one quote. And, they were by a man named Robert Anthony, Dr. Robert Anthony. I remember that. And I bought these little books whenever they came out. I'd buy a new one for myself, and I'd buy one for my mom, because my mom liked stuff like that. And it was just filled with little quotes. It was how to live your life better. And one of them that I've never forgotten was along the lines that we are all self-made, but only the successful of us will admit it. Dr. Anthony said, you can have reasons or you can have results. Reasons don't count. Let me say that again. You can have reasons or you can have results. And reasons don't count. When we have reasons, that is, well, the reason I'm not this way, etc., 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 is when we are blaming other people. It is making ourselves a victim. It is making ourselves the causality as opposed to the cause in the situation. It is making ourselves someone who cannot rise above our station. And again, I know how challenging life is for so many of you. I get it. I do get it. And at the same time, I want to inspire you that whatever life has dealt you in the way of cards, you can arrange them into a better hand. Perhaps you can't arrange them into a full house, but you can arrange them into a better hand so long as you're the one who admits that you are the one playing the cards that have been dealt your way. The cards may not be ideal. Rarely are they. And sometimes when we are playing, it seems like it's up and down, and it seems like we are certain to lose. But if we just don't fold, if we don't quit, if we stay in there, if we keep making ourselves on a daily basis, then we can make ourselves ultimately. And that's something really important to remember. Everybody wants to have the great bank account, the great body, the great girlfriend, the great wife, the great husband, the great this, the great that, the great legacy. And yet most people aren't willing to put forth the work today. Today. The universe doesn't give you things. Let me say that again. The universe does not give you things. You qualify for them. So start qualifying today at a high level. Start remembering that you are indeed self-made and that you can make something magnificent of yourself and that the world is waiting for you to make something magnificent of yourself. You are sitting upon a recipe that no one else has. And if you don't make it to the best you can, the world is diminished for it. You are self-made. Start making yourself with intention, starting today, and share it with the world. So how about you? What are you going to do to make yourself and to accept yourself as being a self-made individual starting today? Take a few minutes, share with our community here. Tell us what you learned today, what epiphanies you've realized, and more importantly, how you're going to make yourself be the best possible self you can be today. One thing I'm going to do? Nothing. Because as you watch this, I am on vacation. I'm relaxing. I'm taking it easy. I am recreating myself. So I look forward to you connecting with you to live tomorrow here on our JumpStart. Be sure and be with us at 8:30 a.m. Remember, we have our complaint-free meditation group coming up. Something bright and beautiful today? Okay, you've got it. How about this? And this will be our beautiful backdrop in our complaint-free meditation group with our custom music by my friend Alex Cordero. So if you need a little bit of rest and relaxation in your mind, then be sure and get it with us tomorrow by joining us in our complaint-free meditation group. Here's a better view of what our meditators are going to be seeing. And remember, you are indeed self-made, and whatever you've made yourself into being up until this point, you can become so much more, starting today by making new choices and by ceasing to blame other people for who you are and where you are. Give yourself the blame, and then start taking the credit by moving forward with intention. Enjoy today. Love you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing with life.